Hey, what's going on, flight simmers? My name is Rowan, and today we are going to be talking about the Aerosoft A330 and other Aerosoft news. Now, before we do get into the video, I just want to kindly ask if you can click on that like and subscribe and ding on that notification bell, because it really does help support our channel. So a few of you will be wondering why I am talking about this now, as the Aerosoft news was released nearly a week ago. And the reason why is because I wanted to wait until there was some feedback related to the A330 so I could get a bigger and better idea and a lot more in-depth news to actually release, which may not have been included in the main Aerosoft post. So to start off, Mathyscock has been releasing screenshots over the past week showing the progress of the A330. At first we're going to start looking at all the behind the scenes, an example what they're doing in the rendering software, and then at the end we'll be looking at what the product is looking like in sim. So currently they have been working a lot on the wings of the aircraft. As you can see in the screenshots right now, they are using the 3ds Max software, and without a doubt, from what we can see, they are working on some level of wing flex, which is going to be a major improvement from the A330 in P3D, as there was some, but there wasn't that great of detail in terms of wing flex. It seems like for the A330 in Microsoft Flight Simulator, they are taking all the criticism from the P3D version and trying to resolve it for this one. Now, although this may be a tad annoying for those who purchased the P3D version like I did and was quite disappointed, and especially with how long we waited for the product, which I believe was close to 2 years actually, hopefully we should be getting a product which is much better than what we saw in P3D, especially when it comes to the graphics, the PBR texturing, and just overall the systems. Now, Mathys also did mention that Microsoft Flight Simulator and P3D are completely separate platforms, and there is very little to none similarity in terms of creating an aircraft, as they have previously spoken from the Twin Otter and also the CRJ, which provided a lot of challenges for them as they were developing the aircraft, as we are still experiencing to this day actually. But without a doubt, we should be seeing a major improvement from the P3D version to the MSFS. Now, moving on to a part which I am actually very unsure about, and of course I am talking about the cargo hold. Now, of course, it is lovely and amazing to see the amount of detail which they're going into, but for an area which we will never be actually viewing, only for a brief 10-15 minutes on the ground, I do personally think that it may actually be a waste of performance on the aircraft having a highly detailed cargo hold, unless if you were creating a freighter version of the aircraft, then by all means create the whole interior of the cargo area. But personally, I think having a fully modelled cargo hold may actually be a waste of performance on your computer, especially with how tedious and fragile Microsoft Flight Simulator is right now. So the next part we're going to be looking at is the EFB, and for this part I'm actually quite excited because of the integrations which they have displayed so far. Now, in the initial post they only showed one screenshot, but as I mentioned before, I wanted to wait a few days to see what other information, and this proved to be the case. Aerosoft released a couple extra screenshots of the EFB, and this is actually very interesting in terms of what they are aiming for. Now, of course, these are just mock versions. They are not going to be exactly the way they are displayed in the sim, but for what they're aiming for is actually very similar to the fly-by-wire EFB. Now, I say that not because it visually looks the same, but because of the features. From what I can see, it looks like they are aiming for SimBrief integration. As you can see from the screenshot right now, you have the loaded flight plan and the refresh button at the top right of where it is showing your destination details, and also the OFP, or your online flight plan. With this, although it's not been 100% confirmed, it suggests that it has some form of online integration, whether that's SimBrief or PFPX. We don't know to this current day, as there hasn't been an official announcement suggesting it. But also, looking on the left hand side, we have charts. I don't know if this is going to be Navigraph integration or Aerosoft charts integration, but Hopefully it will be both. We can have a selection of both, whether if you have a Navigraph subscription or not. We also go to the payload. It looks like we are going to have full customization in terms of weight and balance, meaning that we can select how many people are sitting in first class, economy, and how far forward or backwards in the aircraft that will be. This is also very beneficial because if, for example, if you are running light or heavy, you can customize where the people are going to be sat as they would in real life, so you can have the best weight and balance for your takeoff. And then talking about the balancing, we can also see the graph of the center of gravity on the right hand side right now, which is also very important for your flight briefing. So with that is pretty much all of the screenshots and images which we have released, and finally we're going to look at what the aircraft looks like from an external view in sim. As you can see, the majority of it all looks fairly decent at this current point. Looking at the tail, it does need a lot more work, but from a visual point of view, it does look very nice. It does look appealing, and it does look like the A330, which is of course what they are aiming for. We can also see that they are adding on other features on the external view, like the Wi-Fi extension box, which is at the very top. So if we can have different configurations of the aircraft, that will be amazing. As MSFS has also mentioned in the past, they are looking to expand onto different variants. For example, different engine types for Rolls-Royce and so on. So moving away from the A330 and now talking about actual Aerosoft itself, I just want to talk about the timelines which we could be expecting currently. Now, looking at the past, especially with the A330 project for P3D, that took roughly 2 to 3 years to create. But MSFS has also mentioned that he has moved all of their resources to the A330 project since the completion of the Twin Otter. But moving past the A330, they also talk about what they're going to be aiming towards in the future, and they do aim to do other Airbus aircraft. But as they mentioned in the past, they are not going to be doing the A350 and the A380. But that also leaves out one important aircraft which I would love to see them do, which they haven't actually mentioned, but they haven't actually ruled out, and that is of course the A340, the A330's big sister. The quad engine jet, which has 4 variants, is a very appealing and rare aircraft that you can see in the sim, and it has very similar systems to the A330, as it was released at a similar time to the 330, if not slightly before, I believe. Of course, with the narrow body series, the 320 is currently being dominated by Phoenix and also fly-by-wire, so the only aircraft which they can really do, which will sell well on the market, are the smaller variants, and that's the A318 and A319. Maybe the A321 would be a popular one, and I'm talking about the CO or CEO version, which is current engine option, but other than that, they could potentially go outside of the default aircraft body and go towards the A220, which used to be owned by Bombardier but was bought by Airbus. So to conclude this, it does look like and seem like Aerosoft is trying to fix all of the bugs and all of the criticisms which they've had in the past in order to create a better product for MSFS, as it seems like MSFS is the new and go-to sim for 2022. So with that guys, I hope all of this information did help. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you do click on that like and subscribe button below. If you think we could have improved on anything else, make sure you do comment it down below. Other than that, my name has been Rowan, and you have been watching Information Alpha.